Come on. It's real hip hop music. It's real hip hop music. Come on.
Mic check. 1 2 1 2. This is not a Guest in the House podcast, although that felt real familiar to do. This is, I think it's major journalism. I'm still David Traum Diggs Shanks. I am your host. It's brought to you by the People versus Anti-People, but I am joined by a familiar voice and face. Mickey Hess, Professor Mickey Hess of Rider University, author,
That's right.
Professor, and former co-host, or still co-host of the On Sabbatical Guest in the House podcast.
That's right. It may come back, right?
So that's why I didn't want to say former.
We may do the special episode.
Yeah, but we wanted to do this special, I guess, crossover kind of episode, transitioning from what would regularly be a Guest in the House podcast to what will regularly be called Major Journalism with David Traum Diggs Shanks, brought to you by the People versus Anti-People. So first of all, let's catch up with my guy. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, since we stopped doing a Guest in the House, the cool kids got back together, so anything could happen.
Yeah,
right?
that is true.
They said they were never going to do it, and they did.
That is true.
Well, if Eric B. and Rakim got back together a few years ago,
listen, if Eric B. and Rakim can do it, and the cool kids can do it, then certainly Traum Diggs and Mickey Hess can find some room to get back together.
But meanwhile, the Far Side gets further and further splintered apart. Right now, it's 3 against 1.
Now they're the FAR side.
Yeah. I don't know. They've been through so many weird iterations, and
that's like
sometimes they all put out great music.
It's like some
whatever lineup.
It's like some Temptation shit. Like it's just know what I mean. Like when they had the one with David Ruffin and Eddie Kendricks and then Otis and the other guys were doing. Yeah, it's like
that's right.
Yeah, but the only difference is it's like everyone in the group, but Ali,
Booty Brown, right?
Yeah,
Romai.
There you go. But they can't use the name. It's like so
somehow he's got the name with the PH.
Yeah. It reminds me of New Edition had something like that going on a couple years back, where Johnny Gill and Ralph Tresvant apparently owned like the name New Edition, and Mike, Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike had to run around being like Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike. They couldn't be.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, that was a thing for a minute. Okay. They're back together and on tour right now, though. So, congratulations to that. So that's another one.
If New Edition, we don't even have any problem with each other.
How about that? Yeah. How about that? But I wanted to pull you in because it's been a few weeks now. I think we're pushing a month or two, right? We got wrapped up in the end of January, right?
Yeah.
So, and let's not date ourselves because I don't actually know when this is dropping. So let's just pretend there is no time to this. But a while back we stopped. And you had your reasons, and totally respected, of course. And Anthony hit me like almost immediately, kind of like, hey, what you want to do? I'm riding with you. If you want to keep going, let's keep going. If you want to try something else, let's try something else. And we actually talked on the podcast about, things that I wanted to kind of deep dive into. And so I took the time to kind of figure out like, okay, what's my next move? The problem, I guess, sometimes with taking time is we get analysis paralysis. So
I had to look that up when you sent me that term the other day. Yeah, it made sense after I saw it.
So I'm the type of guy, who's pretty well-rounded. I guess you could say I know a little bit about a lot of shit. You know what I mean? And so my interests vary. So it's like, okay, well, I want to delve into like music stuff. I want to make sure I'm doing music stuff. Um, I want to keep on kind of like the societal kind of quasi political commentary. You see, I got my red, black, and green back there.
Definitely.
So we want to go all the way down that rabbit hole. But how do I then do like a people's versus anti-people podcast and a music podcast and what I mean? And so I kept pausing on getting this going because I'm like, I don't know which direction I'm going. And what I had to do eventually was just text Anthony, give him a date, and say, we're back at it this day.
Back
And
at
we'll
it.
just figure it out as we go along. And I'm going to try to not worry so much about, what the kind of theme is of the show or podcast, right? So not so much like it's got to be about this and it's got to
Yeah,
be
I got
about that. It's just kind of me here talking about shit that I want to talk about on whatever particular day we're recording.
I got it.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of where we ended up, although it was kind of the core theme of it was a guest in the house. And but we
Yeah.
talked about whatever the hell we wanted to talk about. It's
Yeah, we can
just,
bounce back and forth.
yeah, it's just our interaction tends to, I guess, be in a particular set of boxes. You know what I mean? That made it easy for us to talk. But I guess from your standpoint, I just wanted to chat about analysis paralysis. You're a creative,
For sure.
um, you're a writer, and we've talked about the blocks of creativity. We've probably talked about, second guessing yourself and just the process of creating. So I was like, oh, you know what? Especially since, like I said, folks have hit me up. I think they miss us a little bit. So I said, well, for my first crack at it, let me bring my guy in. We'll do like a crossover episode, kind of bridging between the last podcast and what's, on the horizon. But I wanted to talk about that, about the analysis paralysis.
Could you lay out like a quick definition for listeners? Because I did have to look it up.
Sure. I would say it's a grand phrasing for overthinking
Overthinking. Yeah.
and becoming so trapped in how that you don't actually do.
Like the how and the why.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Correct.
Well, you know what it says if you watch the Kenny Beats videos, he's got the big sign in the back of the booth that says "Don't overthink shit."
Mm-hmm.
You watch the freestyles. I think that's pretty good advice for going in and heading into the booth or sitting down at your laptop to write, or probably any creative endeavor. It seems like when you get stuck in overthinking, like, man, who's going to read this? Where am I going to pitch this to? Who the hell's going to put out some weird stuff like this? Is this worth like the $500 I might make from it? Why am I sitting here for so many hours? What if I don't even make anything from it?
Right.
If you start to get into all these whys, like, why am I even doing this? You end up just kind of bullying yourself almost, right? It's like you're sitting down to create and you're standing over your own shoulder saying, man, this is fucking stupid.
Right.
Why you wasted your time on this? Nobody's going to want to read this.
Right.
Nobody's going to want to listen to this. And it's hard sometimes to get that voice out of your head. And when it stays there, you're just kind of stuck. Even if you're able to push through it and write or make music or create in whatever form, you can almost feel that sense in it. There's a little bit of hesitancy. There's a little bit of self-doubt sort of woven into the work itself. Like the work isn't fun. And sometimes when I look back at my own stuff, I feel like I can tell, oh, that's, I wasn't having fun here.
Definitely.
There wasn't any joy in.
Definitely. A lot of
And
my
sometimes when I read stuff or listen to stuff from other people, or even I've seen people perform on stage, and I'll think, man, they're just not into
you
it.
can feel it. Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
feel it.
A lot of my work, I definitely can pinpoint the work that is just work,
Yeah,
and we talked about this in private and on the podcast about like the latter part of my like music career and just getting into a space where I was just the rapper of it had
yeah,
taken all of the joy out of making music, just I gotta make it. You know what I mean? And so I've got to do it. And then it's about like marketing plans and how can I push this
yeah.
and talking to bloggers and you know what I mean? And it just wasn't fun anymore. And I had to take that step back. And in taking that step back, we started A Guest in the House
Yeah, it was good
podcast.
timing for me too.
Yeah, yeah. And that became like the thing that opened back up to like, okay, I'm just doing it because I love to do it. It's
Yeah,
not so much about, and I even sometimes when I would you know hound about like social media and like how we're gonna do it, and you know what I mean. Like I'm sending stuff to Anthony, like how can we do this, and we need an intern and stuff like that. I was very deliberate about not getting into a space where wanted to push the podcast because
yeah,
I wanted it to be like, look, I show up, I do this, I don't care who's listening. It'd be
yeah,
nice to have listeners just to engage with folks, but not because it needs to become like some ad revenue thing. You know what I mean? I didn't want to find myself in the space that I've found myself in hip hop where I was like trying to do anything, you know? And with this, I mean, this is so much more personal. Oh, well, no, my music's pretty personal, but you can't mistake talk. Like I can rap
yeah,
something and I can, say, hey, you interpreted that the wrong way. But when you're talking,
sure.
it is what it is, right? And have such a respect for the greats and the giants of any endeavor that I partake in. So whether it's music, whether it's production, whether it's writing, whether it's journalism, whether it's just being a broadcaster, like I'm the type. I understand who came before me, and I respect the craft so much so that I think that self doubt creeps in with me sometimes where it's like, come on, bro. Like, who you think you are? You're not fucking Walter Cronkite. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not, you're not Tony Brown. You're not Gil Noble. Like, who do you think you are? You know what I mean? And so it creates the like, I want to know everything or I want to acquire all the skill necessary to do something
Yeah.
before I jump. And it's like, you're never going to have all of it figured out. You're going to just have to
Oh,
jump,
for sure,
you know?
for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And so we're just jumping.
Yeah,
And
just
one
jumping.
week we're going to be talking about, food sovereignty in, cities of America and overcoming food deserts in the hood. And the next
Yeah.
week we're going to be talking about, OC's catalog or something like that. It's
Wow, that's a
just,
good
yeah,
combo. I like those
that's where
things.
we're going with it. And I'm not going to be worried about, you know, oh, you're political this week. Why are you not? I'm not. I don't care.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
I think that's good.
yeah. That's how we're going. But what's new, man? What you working on? You got anything going on?
Yeah, nothing completely taking shape, but I've been writing a lot since we stopped with the Guest in the
I
House
had a
podcast.
feeling. I
It
had a
sounds like you've
feeling.
been recording a lot.
A little, not a lot.
Little.
A little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
back in the classroom, doing the research writing class for freshmen,
Mm,
non-English majors.
mm.
I know I told you about it off podcast. I don't believe we talked about it much on it, but I gave them this cool assignment, or I think it's cool. They may not, but I gave them each a state, and they had to research that state's bill to ban critical race theory in K through 12 education, and a lot of them even extend to universities.
Mm,
And they just turned in like a pretty solid draft to their first bit of research, and they're sort of finding across the board that the bills don't define critical race theory very well.
mm.
And a lot of opponents of the bills, like teachers unions, are saying like, well, can you point us to an example of where somebody was doing this kind of stuff? And they can't.
Right,
There are
right,
very few examples. This thing they're trying to ban, they can't even exactly define. And when you're asked for an example, you say, well, I mean, I'm not gonna get into specifics, just I hear that some kids are being taught bad
or
things.
my favorite. What do you think it means? the old,
Yeah, why
the
don't
old.
you
You
tell
tell
me?
me what it is. Then you tell me what
Yeah,
it is.
and then
Yeah,
we'll ban it.
yeah, 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 yeah. That's a cool assignment. I'm sure you've gotten some interesting
Yeah.
drafts. Yeah.
And I see students changing their mind.
Mm,
I ask them like, tell me where you were at the start of this project, what you thought as you were researching it, and then where you ended up. And yeah, here and there, you see that rare thing of a student saying, I really came in way over here on this idea. Everything I'd heard from my parents, from things I'd seen on TV, I really was in favor of this kind of bill. But coming out the other side, I don't know.
right,
It seems like maybe it's not on the up and up, or there's not very well thought out.
right. Well, wait till they ban you.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, next year I can't teach this lesson.
Oh man, what the hell? Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, before we go any further,
Yeah.
um, because in true us potting fashion,
Yeah.
there's been a loss. And
Oh,
so yeah, I
absolutely.
wanted to make sure we acknowledge French Montana, my beloved dog, who we had to put down after, I mean, she's been with us um, for about pushing 7 years, six and some change.
Okay.
Um, but we think she's 14. She was a rescue dog. So she was like the old wrestlers back in the day. She's from parts unknown. You know what I mean? Her, she's
So she
breed
had a good
unknown,
long
parts
life.
unknown, but she had a good, long,
That's good.
hard life. She was found just like roaming the road somewhere in West Virginia,
Mm,
and
okay.
they took her to the shelter. Um, no one would adopt her because she was already probably like 6 years old then, and everybody
Yeah,
likes puppies. No one likes old dogs. But the shelter folks said it was just something about her. They couldn't put her down. Like her face, just they
yeah,
couldn't put her down. She
that's great.
landed in a foster home in Virginia, which is where we went to visit her. Maybe like 2015,
Okay.
and yeah, she came down the stairs in the foster home. She ran. She jumped right in Rachel's lap immediately,
Wow.
and it was like, okay, it's a wrap. Um, yep. And Rachel and Voss brought her home that summer. Um, and I've been around since like 2018. So
So she was there before you.
yeah, yeah. Well, you know my life. So
Yeah.
I was there, and then I wasn't there for a little bit, and then I
Okay.
came back. So, so yeah, 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 Frenchie, man. But Frenchie was my buddy. A lot of my time spent in Maryland was just me and
Yeah,
Frenchie. You know what I mean? And my daily
definitely.
routine was like getting up in the morning, grabbing Frenchie, taking her out, going to the
They're a
little
big part of
park.
your life.
Big
I
part of
think
my
people
life.
who don't have pets don't know really what they're missing out
I
on.
I
Yeah.
never knew, and I never cared to know. I was never a dog person. Just, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Never got it.
And she won you
She
over.
won me over. She
Yeah,
won
that's
me
tough.
over. Now, um, the vet said, don't close your heart.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
and I hear that, and I totally get it. I don't think I could do this again. I think
See.
we'll see. I know,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I tend to go the other
I
direction.
know. I bet.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
like we put down our cat Milo, who's about 14, had been sick. We'd had him since he was a kitten. He was about 8 weeks old when we got him. He'd been sick his whole life. They told us several times he wasn't going to make it to 10, but he made it to 14
Mhm.
and stayed, happy. He was content. He was happy that whole time. But it was so heartbreaking losing him after having like done so much care for him, watched him fight this illness his
Mhm.
whole life. But then, about maybe 6 weeks, maybe a month, maybe I'm exaggerating, maybe it was even less. After we lost him, I saw a little kitten in the Petco where they have the animal shelter comes through and they,
Right.
feature cats in Petco once a week. And we got this little girl and she's like she makes it okay in some way. Like
Mhm.
it's not a replacement, but I kind of feel like, if Milo didn't have to go, maybe this little girl wouldn't have found this home. Maybe we wouldn't have found her. And I always think like they would have loved each other if they could have met.
Right.
If they had
Right.
just crossed paths, but they just missed each other.
Yeah. I don't know if I can do it again.
Yeah, man, it's so hard to lose them, especially when you have to make that decision, right,
Yeah.
and take them into the vet. It's
Yeah.
so
It
hard.
was it was it was that was the toughest part. And we probably we probably held on, I mean, there's two sides of the boat, right? There's like
Hmm.
it's cruel to like hold on to them, if they're suffering, you got to let them go. Then there's the like as long as she's moving and
Yeah, happy to see you.
yeah, and but it was getting rough. It was getting tough to watch. I see her, I let her out in the mornings and I, usually clean up after her and stuff in the mornings. So I got to see her in a way that, Rachel and Voss did not because they would pretty much by the time they got rolling, she was like out and up and, moving around.
Yeah,
She was outside and she was super happy in the backyard. She would spend the whole day in the backyard and then she'd
nice.
come in and bark the entire night. But she started like losing her because she had we pretty sure she had a brain tumor. Um,
Yeah.
and so she started to lose like motor skills. So like
Ooh,
her,
yeah.
you could probably in another week or so, her back legs would have just, they were starting to give out. And so, it was
Yeah.
sad to watch her deteriorate. She started losing weight. You could fit like your whole thing in her collar and stuff. So it was just when Rachel saw her yesterday, it was just like, yeah, let's just
Yeah.
keep the appointment because we were gonna cancel and just hold on for a little longer. But it was like, nah, she's and it's tough, and just even and just having that, having life and death in your hands like that, like is a strange kind. I mean, I guess we do, but just picking her
And you
up,
can't really ask like, do you think it's time?
yeah,
Pick up a cat or a dog. Like they
yeah,
can't
yeah,
weigh in on that.
yeah, yeah,
Just if they refuse to eat,
yeah.
that seems to be the
That's
sign.
usually the sign. But she had an appetite. She
Yeah.
had an She was tough, man. She's tough,
Yeah.
tough little cookie,
Man,
man.
I'm
So
so sorry to hear it. I always enjoyed hearing the stories, seeing the photos.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So we dedicate this first episode to Montana, to Frenchie the dog.
Yeah, Frenchie.
Yeah, yeah, we love Frenchie, man. So talk about the writing projects, man. Is anything you got anything brewing, or you're just kind of getting back into the flow?
Man,
You got something? You
brewing,
got
getting
some?
back into the flow. Like I've always felt like I'm gonna jinx myself if I talk about it too much, really.
Ah, gotcha,
Like,
gotcha.
and I broke that rule for a while, and I feel like it screwed me up a little
That
So
means
I don't like to get into much in the way of
that
specifics,
means you
but
got
like my
something.
routine, what's that?
That means you got something going on.
I got
But
something
that's
going, I
good.
think.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Get
That's
up,
good.
kind of write every morning. I'm excited to, I go to bed the night before thinking like, man, I can't wait to get up and work on this in the morning. And then sometimes you wake up that morning and you don't get anything done.
Right.
You wake up, you're excited even the night before, and then it's like, man, it's just not happening today.
Right.
But
Right.
pick back up, and when you get frustrated, you don't give up and walk away.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, I mean, it's back to a good routine. I feel happy with it, happy with where it's headed, and I don't know what the hell I'll do with it exactly. And I'm
Nice.
trying not to think about it.
Nice. Nice. Nor should you. Nor should you. No reason to. No reason to. I got a beat from Gas Lab the other day.
Oh
Yeah. I got a beat from Gas Lab and I laid one verse, which I guess in some way means like we're officially starting Jazz Hop 3.
3.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we'll see. We'll see. But that's usually how it starts. That's
Now,
usually
how
how
much
it
does Gas
starts.
Lab do in between projects? I
Oh,
know he's
Gas Lab's
producing for
killing.
other people.
He's killing.
He's all over the
He's
place,
killing.
right?
He's killing.
Yeah.
I get his we're linked in like the Spotify like artist thing, so I get his numbers. He's killing. I'm
Really
like, oh
awesome.
man,
Yeah, you guys are a good
yeah.
team, though.
Well, lo-fi music has like taken off. Like there's
Yeah,
an entire like lo-fi beats genre that is like big time now. Which would make sense because you're working from home, you're chilling, and you just got these like chill beats in the background while you do what you do. There's no, you know what I mean? It's almost like new jazz kind of, you know what I mean? Like it's like this chill sound that you can just play in the background and do your thing. Can, if you're a glass of wine kind of smoke a joint kind of guy and you're just relaxing in your crib, or if you're cleaning the house and doing something, or if you're, like I said, you're working from home and you got some nice beats in the background. So, he's really in a good space to do what he does right now,
yeah.
and it's paying off. So shout to Gas Lab. In fact, it'll be interesting because I think that we'll have to do some tinkering with the tempos to get it back to like me being able to rap on them now. And so I think it's probably been a little bit since he's had to do that. So it should be fun. But like we talked about, and it'll be here before we blink. Next year is the 10th anniversary of the first Jazz
First
Hop.
jazz hop.
Yep. And
Yeah,
so, you know, if the stars align,
yeah.
if the
And he's in
stars align,
Brazil, is that
he's
right?
in Argentina, Buenos Aires.
Argentina.
I think he moved out of Buenos Aires, but he's in Argentina. Yep.
Okay. I always
Yep.
think Brazil for some reason. I always get that wrong.
Uh, you know, very
Mm.
close. They share a border, right? So
Yeah. See, I mean, to people in the U.S., we don't know shit.
yeah, well,
We don't know
that's
anything about where shit is in
that's
the world.
true. That is true.
Yeah,
We think we're the center of the universe. So
we sure do.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Speaking of which,
Yeah.
there's a lot going on there, huh?
A lot going on, right? And people are all hung up on the gas prices. Like that's what they focus on first.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Why now? I'm not. We have reserves. What
Yeah.
exactly? I guess if the world ends, we'll start
If shit
using
gets
our
far
own
worse,
oil.
right? We have the reserves.
I read
I
some.
mean, look at how long it took him to release the reserves of the PPE and just the masks and shit. And
Right.
we were 2.5 years into the
Yeah.
pandemic before they said, let's tap those reserves.
I mean, what could be like? What's past the global pandemic that like? Okay, so if this happens, then we'll pull out the PPE. Like what? like
Yeah, I mean, it's like, think of a billionaire sitting there. I think this happened with Elon Musk recently. He like challenged somebody to say like, okay, you show me what my money could do to help end world hunger.
mm,
Show me a plan. Show me how far it would go. I think this was Musk. I may be thinking of the wrong oligarch, but And of course, nothing happened, right? It's like, what's it going to take for somebody with that much money hoarded to say, okay, I think I'm going to share a little bit of it? Like, how bad does shit have to get
Yeah,
before somebody who's hoarding money and resources says, all right, let's distribute a little bit of that to the people?
yeah. It's crazy. So I read the other day, or I saw the other day, that uh, Biden may be warming up to the idea of getting some oil from Venezuela, which is
Ooh,
interesting.
okay. Yeah.
Which is
Yeah, I
interesting.
hadn't seen that one.
Yeah, which is interesting. There was some negotiations about some imprisoned Americans that were
Okay,
released.
yeah. But not
Um,
Brittany Griner, of course.
no, 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 no.
No.
This is in Venezuela, and
Okay.
so they there are thoughts that this may be the beginning of an attempt to maybe replace
Wow.
one dictator's oil with another. I mean, I
Except
don't
that.
know. I don't know much about
Sure.
that. I just found it interesting that it's like, okay, because I've heard, I know what I do know is there's been a lot of Venezuela bashing, and I can't recall
Of
the
course. Of course.
president of Venezuela's name right now, but he's supposed to be quite a motherfucker. And so, you know, not the money and the
Sure.
military that Putin has, but just as shitty to his peoples,
Of course.
supposedly. So it would be interesting if we do end up, and apparently their oil is not the greatest either, but I guess
Okay.
it's better than using our own oil.
Yeah, we gotta
Um,
save that just in case.
yeah, so that'd be interesting. How much are you into like the crypto stuff?
Zero.
Zero?
I don't
Yeah,
know anything
I
about it,
dig it.
and I've just stayed out of it. How
I
about you?
I hear you. I'm on the surface. I'm trying to learn more. I'm trying to learn more. The Web3 conversation really helps me to feel middle aged.
Yeah,
It
see, I don't know how any of the shit
I
works.
really feel like, you know, your mother not being able to program the VCR now. Like I'm really starting to feel like that guy. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? Like the metaverse,
That's
like
true.
what the NFTs, like what the like, you know what I mean? I'm still trying to figure out how to use my smartphone. Like it
Exactly.
so,
Exactly.
but I'm reading and I'm trying to I'm trying to do some things that'll put me in the space of, having to learn. So we'll see. But it's interesting with the Ukraine raising, money in crypto.
Definitely.
Yeah, super interesting. President Biden just issued an executive order to kind of explore more and figure out how to maybe create a digital coin for
Yeah, I did
the
see that.
U.S. Yep, yep.
I've
Uh,
definitely seen a lot of hip hop figures are super into the NFTs,
yeah,
whether it's
yeah.
mining their own or just like super into conversations about how to make money off of it. What do you think that's about? What's the allure?
I think that, well, let's see. On the bright side, um, the direct to consumer relationship,
Yeah,
the bypassing record labels, NFT, and just the blockchain creates a great opportunity in that space where artists can, just both musicians and real artists can produce work that can not only be provided directly to the fans, but then there's that royalty piece where you can continue to make money. Like, let's say, okay, create a, I do a song or an EP
yeah,
and I attach it to an NFT and I release 10,000 of these NFTs and I say, okay, 10,000 at $20 a pop, right? And you can do the math on that. But I also can put in the I guess it's like a ledger or something, but I can put language in the contract. It's a smart contract. I can put leverage in the contract that says, because there's a secondary market. So it's like art, right? So where the first set 10,000 that I sold for $20 a pop can then be resold
Okay.
for $50 or $100 or whatever someone would resell it for on the secondary market. I can put in the contract that when that's resold, I still get 10% of
Okay.
that. So it's not like a painting where, someone, has a Basquiat and the Basquiat sells at an auction for X amount of dollars. And
They keep
then,
all that.
right,
Yeah.
Basquiat sees none of it. And
No.
Basquiat painted that in
Yeah.
84 or something like that. And
Or
whatever
his
it's going
estate,
for,
whoever controls that, they get nothing.
exactly, exactly. But with this, there's an opportunity to continuously make money
Yeah.
off of your and so that's awesome for artists. I do think that what we do a lot in hip hop as a culture is we push our like celebrities forward and kind of make them the voice and the face of things.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see more individuals who actually have expertise in these
Yeah.
things weighing in. So part of it seems like, you know, tech guys who are able to get close to like rappers and kind of get rappers to like push certain things that they may not be experts on, but maybe they get a check, maybe, whatever the case may
Sure.
be. And so it's
Like
like,
a sponsorship
yeah,
deal.
so it's like NFT, 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 but it's not really, there's no real like education behind it. So I'd love to see more like, okay, you know, put us on to what's going on, not just kind of like NFT, 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 and make it like the cool thing now, which is, it's cool to make it the cool thing, but help us get some understanding about it. Bring some folks in that can really talk about the advantages. Jim Jones
Okay.
is doing his thing in the space, and I've seen him giving some like education on it and like breaking it down, which is cool. You know what I mean?
And
But
Casual does with Hyro Coin.
nice, nice.
Yeah.
And so
And he looks like he's been investing in all kinds of shit for
he
a while. I
seems to
mean,
be a
he's always
smart,
been talking about
seems to
real
be a pretty
estate.
sharp guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like Hyro Coin, and I wasn't even familiar with that, but that's an example of like things that can be done that are super clever. So now I'm producing merch and music, and I'm creating this world where these things can be bought
Okay.
with my own currency.
Okay.
That,
So you control every aspect of the transaction.
yeah, yeah. And
Okay.
you can trade, you know, a particular coin. It'll probably be like Ethereum or something for like Hyro coin. You know what I mean? And then you can go into this space and you can, maybe there's concerts in the metaverse. It's wild. It's whatever you can imagine, it can be done. So now you got a hieroglyphics concerts inside of the metaverse, and you're paying Hyro coin to enter
To go
the
get tickets.
concerts. Then you got merch that's digital merch that your avatar can wear, and you're paying Hyro for that. But then you may be able to attach it to like physical merch to where, like, let's say you buy the T-shirt in the metaverse and you put it on your avatar, but then you may get a mail of a like package with the actual T-shirt that you can. It's a whole world. That's definitely you know, the type of, that's a show. That's definitely an episode of major
I bet.
journalism. Definitely gonna try and do a deep dive in that. So that's, yeah.
And the traditional stock market guys seem to be kind of wary of it, and I don't ever know if I should trust that. Like they're scared of it because it works, and it's another way for new people to come in who aren't really entrenched in the stock market and make money, or are they really afraid people are going to tank and lose money with this?
I don't particularly recall rich people really caring about the
That's a good
well-being
point.
of
That's a
other
good
people.
point.
So
They just want you to keep your money in stocks because that makes them
that's
money.
the bet that they know how to hedge. You know what I mean? And that's what I gather from it. So it's from the beginning of the crypto thing, there's been a lot of like, I don't, I don't do that. I don't buy crypto. I get why. Now, listen, is it super wise to invest in something that could go up or down based on what Elon Musk tweets? Probably not, right?
But he's making traditional stocks go up and down too sometimes with a tweet, right?
Exactly. And that's what these guys have been doing the
Yeah,
entire time. It just wasn't so pronounced because we didn't have social media. But I mean, they've been
yeah,
playing options and, seeing what's going to happen with a particular stock and winning on the upswing and the downswing. They've always been doing that, right? We just
yeah,
didn't know the game. And now, you know, regular folks and the day trading crew, and we got the guys on Reddit and stuff like that, and they're kind of just organically generating these ups and downs themselves, and it's like they're cheating, which they're cheating, but
yeah.
they're not.
It's always been
It's
that's how the
yeah,
market
yeah,
operates, right?
yeah, yeah. It's just you're mad that you know what I mean. Someone's
Yeah,
cheating in your game, so
yeah. That's
yeah,
it.
yeah. That's how I look at it. But no, I mean, I would, and this is not an investor podcast, obviously, but I mean, diversification is, you know,
Mhm. It goes back to Jezza.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Diversify your
yeah,
bonds.
yeah. How about that? So, I'm interested in it from the artist space, and I'm trying to figure out more how to earn it than
Yeah,
purchase it,
makes sense.
if that makes
Yeah.
sense. You know what I mean? And
So are we
just
gonna have Traum coins?
maybe not Tron coins, no.
Okay.
Maybe not Trump coins, no. We'll see, but no, probably
Okay.
not Trump coins. I don't know. I'm not there yet. I'm not yet there yet, but maybe,
You never know.
yeah, maybe maybe an NFT, project or something like that. Maybe we'll see. We'll see. I'm interested. I mean, but you know me. I'm always trying to figure out a way to buck the
Yeah,
system when it comes to releasing music and doing. You know what I mean?
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. I'm messing with Bandcamp and doing, just trying to and doing different things that are exclusive. I'm super moving forward. That's how I'm definitely trying to present my art as opposed to just
I think
funneling through.
people Yeah, I think some people don't realize how much as an independent artist you have to learn about all that stuff and handle all that stuff yourself. Like that's a whole other side of the work and effort you put into it, right? You got to figure out, how do I get this to people? How do I inform people that it's available? And then what platforms or services do I have to enter into any agreements with to make this happen, or who do I want to avoid? I mean, there's a ton of considerations that, as an independent artist, it almost seems like people think, well, you don't have to think about any of that stuff, right? You're just independent. You
No,
almost got to think about it more, at
no,
least
it's
yourself.
definitely more.
Yeah.
It's
Because if
definitely
you're a
more.
major label artist, other people are doing it for you. They may not be doing it well. You may have to interact with them to say, "Hey, I don't like how this is going, man. I don't like how you're dressing me in the videos."
Right.
But you're not picking out your own outfit.
No. And I mean, even, there's a handful. There's a handful of artists that, you know, have that type of team and attention, and you know what I mean, and the rest of us, even some of us that are signed to major labels, are still self-contained, you know what I mean? And they're kind of like, well, okay, when you bring it to me, then I'll take it and make it big. But
Yeah, there you go.
we're not investing any money in all of that. You know what I mean? They're pretty much coming to you when you've already done all the work yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're
That's how you get a deal anymore, it
right.
seems
Their
like,
thing
right?
is, let's discover, let's go into the algorithms and discover the hot guy and just give the hot guy a check. And so a lot
Yeah,
of
instead of hanging
times,
out at the back of the club to see like who's getting a big crowd for these live shows like they did like 2 decades ago.
no,
They're looking at YouTube clicks, they're looking at Instagram follows, they're looking at TikTok views.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Pretty much that's all they're looking at.
Yeah.
And it
You may
doesn't,
not even have to play a live show, right? Plenty of people get signed before they've ever played live.
there's so many artists being signed. It's insane how many artists have never played a live show.
Yeah,
It's crazy. It's crazy. You
yeah,
know, um, shit. I mean, how many have never been in a professional studio? How many are, you know
yeah,
what I mean? Like it's literally from their bedroom to the world. They
yeah,
get on SoundCloud or YouTube or wherever, and then now it's gone. And then it's like now you have to actually become an artist. I think of what's the poor kid, Panda Designer, and
yeah,
it was like he got this beat from someone on the internet. He makes this song. It kind of sounds like Future. It goes crazy. Pusha T and Pusha T's manager finds him. They get him to Ye. Ye signs the guy, and then like the kid, he was a kid. It's probably his
yeah,
second rap song. Like he didn't, you know what I mean? And now it's like you throw all of this at him, and it's like now he has to become an artist.
yeah,
It's weird, you know what I mean? And you think about shit, man. It used to take us 10 years for anybody to even hear us. Like,
exactly, right. Even
like,
though you're playing shows right and left,
yeah,
right?
playing
Or
shows,
taking your records to radio stations, right? To people, right?
mailing your demo to the whatever address on the back of the tapes and the CDs,
Yeah,
and
yep,
Def Jam office, and you're writing down the addresses and you're mailing out all of these demos, and you're meeting cats outside of the radio station, or you're going to shows and trying to rap for dudes, and you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
paying dues, paying dues, paying dues. And now it's just boop, which is good, of course, and bad.
yeah.
And bad. I just wish, I wish there was a little more development. But no one has time for that. Everything is gotta
For
get it
sure.
now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it can screw up people's careers even if they blow up,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
if you think about their possible trajectory, if they hadn't been like snatched up and blown up at such a young age before they really like solidify what they were doing as an artist. But overall, I mean, it does get us some good music. I don't think all the stuff that blows up that way is bad.
Not at
Some
all. Not at
great
all.
stuff.
I feel more for the kids, for the artists themselves, because sometimes the worst thing that can happen is the blow up,
Yeah,
because then there's no time.
yeah,
It's just, oh no, you're gone. So now you're gone.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And there is no like, hey,
yep,
let's work, let's do some music, let's mess with this sound, let's create a vibe, let's figure out like what kind of artist you are. It's like, oh, this song took off, we need 5 more of those, and it's like
yeah,
I don't
right.
have any more of those.
There's a novelist, Paget Powell, whose first novel won the National Book Award. I
Mm,
think it was big award. And he was fairly young when it happened. And he said he just thought, well, sure, of course, right. And then the next book comes out, didn't win any awards.
mm,
It doesn't really sell very much.
right,
Next book comes out, does even poorer, more importantly. And then he's sitting there like, what the fuck, man? I thought like everything I put out was going to be gold,
right,
right?
right. 'Cause that's
That
all you
first one
knew.
really made it
Yeah,
look like it was
that's
going to
all
be
you
awesome.
knew. You thought that's just
Yeah.
the way it worked.
And then it was like another 25 years before he had a real hit as far as like awards and attention and sales.
Mm.
And in between, he was thinking, "What the fuck, man? You know, I
I
thought I was going to
mean,
be this
yeah,
award-winning dude."
God bless him for still writing. Some people just,
Exactly.
call it quits or even
Yeah.
worse. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, imagine that amount of time. I'm trying to think if there's an artist equivalent to someone who like did it in on their like first shot and then took.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I hate to even say it. I got some speculations. I don't even want to put somebody's name out there because they're still active, and I don't want to make it sound like I hate their new stuff. But I can definitely think of some people who like the blow up screwed up what could have been a better career.
Mm,
I
mm,
think they'll survive, but they're still in that pit right now.
right,
They still
right,
haven't really popped back out of it.
right, right, right. I know. I was quickly trying to think of someone who may have got themselves back after a long time in the.
Yeah,
I mean, it only takes one sometimes. You know what I mean?
that's
It
true.
only takes one. There's some of those middle-aged rock guys like came back after like the peak, and then they come back playing. They all got the same story. They're all playing like just little spots with the singer-songwriter thing, like no more
Yep,
hair, no more. I'm just playing my songs in coffee shops, and then all of a sudden they catch one, and they're
yep,
they're
that's
they're
true.
they're back out, right? So I mean, everyone's got a different road, but you know, sometimes slow and steady, man.
Yeah,
Slow and steady can fortify you more along the journey. When it's like pew to the moon, it's like,
yeah.
yeah, it's
What's the
tough.
line off of De La's Rock Cocaine Flow? Everybody cruise off of being hot. It's about if you can handle being cold or not.
Mm, yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I guess they would be an example. They never exactly went away, but they never like that first album took off, just
yeah,
skyrocketed, right? And I'm sure when De La Soul is Dead comes out, and then Balloon Mind State comes out, they're thinking, well, I guess that moment of fame and like pop crossover hits is probably gone for
yeah,
us.
yeah. Well, I mean, this genre changes so quickly.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That it if you can't, if you're not gonna upgrade or chase the sound, you could get lost. You can
yeah,
go chase the sound, and you can also get lost chasing the
that's
sound,
true.
right? So
That's true.
it goes both ways. It goes both ways. But I mean, generally, groups like De La,
Yeah,
if you just they were excellent and they maintain a certain quality control over their
yeah,
music, and in the end, that'll sustain you.
yeah, and they're still doing it. They've been doing
That'll
it, right?
sustain you. But like the line says, it's about managing being quote unquote cold. So when everyone gives you their ass to kiss, like you maintain that quality of control and continue to be daylight. They never, you know, did something that was like,
Yeah, definitely.
and then that's when you're done, and there's no comebacks. You know what I mean? If you
It's
can just
true.
maintain and just be like, hey, look, I produce the same quality. The audience has shrunken a little bit. The light that is placed on it has diminished a little bit, but I'm still here. I'm still making the same quality. If you find me, and that's just, you can, that's where you can get overseas and you can do what you got to do. And you know what I mean? And but you just gotta, um, be okay with not being famous.
Yeah, and that's much tougher when you've tasted
I'm sure. I would never know.
it. Same here. Yeah, I mean the folks I know, writers and musicians who've tasted a little bit of fame. Oh, I mean, what looks like a high to me looks like such a low to them.
Yeah.
If they
Yeah.
get like attention from a big place, but then they're kind of shitty in the review, that hurts them so much. And I
Yeah.
would just be like, man, it's cool if they even reviewed my thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I noticed that. I noticed that. I noticed that. And the couple of friends I have that have been in that space, the main thing that I've noticed is, besides that, and that goes back to what you talked about like the DIY journey,
Yeah.
things that I'm accustomed to doing for myself, they
Yeah.
have like such a problem having to do on their own. Like,
It's hard to go back
yeah.
to it,
Yeah. Well,
right?
not even back, because they've
They
never
never
had to
did.
do it. So
Never
it's
had
like,
to. Yeah.
why is this not working? And it's like, well, you've got to go do XYZ. Like, you've got to do that yourself. And it's like, I don't know how to do that myself. Like,
Yeah.
someone's supposed to do that for me, right? It's like someone's supposed to handle that. And it's like, not on this side of it.
Yeah. It's tough.
So yeah, I it's tough. It's tough. Like I said, when you know what I mean, when you go from getting your ass kissed to people giving you their ass to kiss, it's I'm sure it's quite a transition.
Definitely.
Quite a
I mean, I can think of
transition.
people I would love to see come back and peak again, like Rich Boy.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
mean, come on, right? That's such a great debut,
It
the
was.
mixtape and the first
It
album.
was. It was.
And then just, I mean, he's put out stuff even fairly recently, but I'm always surprised to see it. I never hear anybody say, "Hey, have
I
you heard the new Rich Boy?"
but I mean, I that yeah, that's a classic one. He
Yeah,
literally disappeared.
absolutely. And has consistently dropped at least singles and EPs and here and there albums, but just totally off the radar.
Wow. Yeah. I wonder who he got upset.
Yeah, yeah, something had to
Because you
happen,
would
right?
think someone would pull him on like a feature or something, that would get him,
Never seen him.
to be, yeah, but yeah, wow. Amazing. Amazing. I, not on that note, but
Yeah,
on another note, I'm interested to see how Isaiah Rashad's career
true. Yeah,
goes post this little thing.
yeah,
Yeah, it's tough out here, man.
yeah, for sure. Right.
It's tough out here, man. Yeah,
And I mentioned Cool Kids at the top of the episode. I was blown away to see those guys come back.
I
Not just to reunite, but put out a damn good album with like
yes,
21 tracks on
that
it in 2022.
yeah, I that came out of nowhere.
It really did. I
Yeah,
mean, it'd probably been 15 years since I'd really heard a Cool Kids track or,
right,
been excited to hear a Cool Kids track.
right, right,
They've definitely done solo stuff in between,
right,
but
right, right.
it just wasn't the
And
Cool
I
Kids.
knew I've seen Chuck English, like,
Yeah.
around doing
Producing.
production and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But yeah. That's how you do it, man. Just drop. I
Yeah.
like that. I like that. I always like that.
Yeah.
Just drop. It's all the
Yeah.
pomp and circumstance. Just show up in the, you know, show up on the Explorer page. Just, oh shit,
Oh, yeah.
new music.
As of a couple of days ago, their Wikipedia still quotes them saying they'll never get back together.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. That's cool, man. But look, man, this was fun, bro.
Yeah.
It's
Good to get
fun.
back
Yeah,
in.
get back in. I mean, I guess I'll do my what to look forward to. Like I said,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take this journey. We're gonna do this solo, except for when I pull my guy in and because I'm definitely gonna pull you in for some topics, just so you know that by now.
Hey, I'm here
Not
anytime.
frequent. I'm not gonna trick you back into being the co-host. I won't. I promise I won't. But
Fair
when
enough.
I want you to win, the invitation will always be there.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah,
I appreciate it.
this major journalism, and major journalism, um, for those who don't know, is not only the name of a solo album from Traum Diggs, but it kind of signifies like a shift in my journey. So I started out in college as a electrical engineering major, and after my first 2 years of being an electrical engineering major and doing very poorly in calculus, I had a decision to make. Do I continue? Do I kind of downgrade into like electrical engineering technology? Um, do I do something else? Now, context is I really just went to college so that I could graduate and rap, right? Like that's all I really wanted to do. But in my household, you got to go to college. So,
There you go.
um, the conversation of switching to engineering technology, which would not quite be an electrical engineering degree, but would kind of be like, I guess, an apprentice to an electrical engineer. And Ma Dukes wasn't having that. So that was a no. So it was like, find you another major or bring your ass back home because we're not paying
Wow.
for an
Okay.
engineering technology degree, which in hindsight, she was absolutely correct. So I basically opened the book, looked at all the schools that would transfer the most amount of credits that I had already accumulated as an engineering major, and saw that if I switched to journalism, School of Communications, I would pass out of math. I would not have to take any more math.
There you
So
go.
that was a plus. And then my electives mostly all transferred. So that would get me out of school in 4 years, which was the plan to get out of there
Wow.
as quickly as
That's tough
possible.
with transferring majors. That's
Yep,
tough.
to go rap. So, all right, cool. Major journalism. Get me out of here. What I didn't know was that I would be kind of going into just going down a road of actually becoming a journalist, and that I really was a writer and a journalist kind of by nature.
Yeah.
And so I marked major journalism as like my quest from kind of being a professional as a career and switching to being like a creative.
Wow. I like it.
Yeah. And so, the name of the show we think is major journalism. It's just going to be all of my curiosities, all of the things I have enthusiasm for and a knowledge base for, talking to folks that I think are interesting and having conversations about a wide range of topics and shit that I care about and shit that I'm into. So,
I
uh,
like it. I can't wait to listen to this.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I encourage all of the, you know, all of our guests and the house fan listeners to take this ride with me, and hopefully we, meet some new supporters, and that'll be that, man. But looking forward to it. Thanks as always to brother Anthony for riding out with me. We're gonna get him a red, black, and green flag.
I
Uh,
like it. I hear it's going to get real militant once I sign off.
hey
So
man, what did you call? What did you say? It's gonna be real Nat X, man. It's gonna
it's going to be the Mad
it's
X
gonna
show.
get some real Shabazz King Morton stuff going on here, uh, and we look forward to it. We look forward to just whatever. You know what I mean? I don't shy away from my opinion on any topics. I'm a pretty reasonable guy. I'm not an asshole. I'm not gonna say anything just to be provocative. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna not speak my mind on whatever it is. So should be fun, man.
I bet.
It should
Yeah, I
be
look
fun.
forward to hearing it.
Yeah, but thanks for hanging out on the first episode and pulling yourself out of you wore a button up shirt. That was very
Oh,
professional of you. I
yeah,
appreciate it.
absolutely. Yeah.
This is our first one, first pod on camera. Well,
It
yeah, yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not our first.
First video.
I'm gonna say in person. I'm like, we're not in person, but we're on camera.
Close enough. I
Yeah.
mean, this is like 2022 in
This
person.
is about as in person as it's gotten in the last 2
I
years,
guess
right?
so. Yeah.
So, Yeah. But major journalism, first episode. To wrap, my co-host for the hour and change was my brother, Professor Mickey Hess. Do you want to
For
give?
having me.
This is weird. Do you want to give out how people can find you? Is that a thing?
Yeah, I don't want to be found
Well,
necessarily, but
then
if you just put me into Google,
let's not be
you can
found.
find
But
me. Yeah,
check out the books. A Guest in the House.
yeah. I like
Um,
check out. Go to the library, get them
yeah,
for free.
yeah.
That's the way to
Check
do it,
that
man.
out. Yep.
That's how I get my books. That's how I always have gotten my
Return to
books.
the 36 Chambers, right?
Yeah.
What is it? Big Wheel in the come on. What
Big Wheel at the Cracker
there you go. I
Factory.
was gonna say Chocolate Factory, but that's a R. Kelly album. Um,
And a set of condos in Philly, right? Isn't there a chocolate factory?
there
Old
is.
City.
That's a
Yeah.
fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. But yeah. Check it out. Do some reading. Literally check it out if you can find a
Check it out. Go to
library.
your public library or your university library. Get some free books.
Nice.
Just bring them back later.
Nice.
That's all you got to do.
Nice. So yeah, man. Major journalism. David Traum Diggs Shanks signing off. Presented by the people versus the anti-people. We'll see you again soon and we'll dive in. Peace and love.